From McFarlane Toys and DC Multiverse, this is Superman from the Batman Hush storyline. I'm not gonna lie, I got this figure, so excited, thinking that this is gonna now be the ultimate Superman, and then I sat on it for a bit, and then I got the DC Classic Superman. That one was amazing. This one still looks pretty good, but I do find it kind of weird that for a few months I kept thinking this is gonna be the Superman, and it's already kind of been cucked by the time I actually start to open it. But if we flip around to the back, we can see you just have a black and white drawing of Superman from the storyline. Pretty cool looking, I like that. And then, yep, that's all that you need to know. So let's actually open up the figure, see how this Superman turned out. Getting this guy out of the box, the first thing I'll say is we've seen most of him before. Whereas the DC Classic Superman we looked at a few weeks ago was almost entirely new pieces, there's things I recognize here. So the upper body, this is all from the Rebirth Superman. The lower body, that comes from the first appearance Superman, which was really just a modification of also the Rebirth Superman. The trunks are new, the cape is new, the head is new, the color, palette tones are all new, but this figure, at the end of the day, is kind of a Frankenstein Superman that gives him unique proportions, and it's a good looking figure, just so we're clear, but there is a lot of reuse here. But just because there's reuse doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad figure. Let's look at some of the things that are new about it. One of the first things to talk about is that head. I'll be honest, I'm not big on it. It is accurate to the artwork, it is, but it's just a little bit too squared off for me. You see, I know Superman, most people think of him as just being a big, stupid flying brick, but he is an intelligent guy. And I think the best Superman head sculpts and face designs incorporate that somehow, usually by giving him, a sense of regality. This Superman just looks a bit too, grumpy, vacant. It's a good head sculpt, but it's a head sculpt I would expect to see more on if they did a Bruce Wayne figure, or perhaps even if they did a Hal Jordan, I could see a face like this working. It's not a bad head sculpt, just not my personal taste. Alongside that, we got the new trunks, which work very well. But here's what I'm excited about, is something that you can't even see from the front of the figure. So the cape is new. The cape looks really nice, actually. I love that windswept look. We have seen this cape before. It was used for the first appearance Superman. But they added something, a thing I've been complaining about for a very long time. They remembered the yellow S. They never remember the yellow S on Superman toys. And as dumb as it may sound, that alone makes me really like this guy. Just the fact that they got the cape right, that he has the yellow S back there. It's so dumb, no one else would care about that, but I care about that because I have a problem. We do have a good suite of articulation as well, so we have a ball joint at the head, a butterfly joint at the arm, universal at the shoulder, upper arm cut, double jointed elbow, boop, universal at the wrist, doop doop, diaphragm joint, alongside a waist joint, universal at the hips, double jointed knees, and then we have ankle and toe. So, just like all the Supermen, basically the usual suite of articulation we get from a multiverse figure. Again, we've seen this before with other Supermen, but hey, yellow S. We also do have a few accessories with this Superman. One, we got the flight stand, which, if you know me, my big complaint every time they don't include a flight stand is the fact that they should. It's a good flight stand, and it works well for Superman. Alongside that, we do get alternate hands, that being these flying hands. Again, we've seen these before, but it's nice to have the options for Superman. So would I recommend this guy? If you need a Superman and don't have one in your collection, I think this is one of the better options. It's a distinct look for Superman. They have every detail you could possibly want. He's big and powerful looking. He has the flight stand. It's a really, really, really good Superman, especially if you want a modern look. For that, I think he's right up there with the DC Classic as being my personal favorite from the line so far. That said, if you're like me and you've gone complete on Superman, or you have a lot of Superman from this line, there's not much here that is new, unless you're just an absolute fanatic about Batman Hush, or Superman, or the yellow S on the cape. There's not much new here for repeat buyers of the Multiverse line. The issue with this Superman is not the sum of its parts. This Superman is great. They've chosen the right pieces to go with. It's just a reality that if I get chicken for every single meal, even if you change up the recipe tomorrow, at the end of the day, it's still the same chicken I've had before.